What's up, everybody? It's Sam with Rowdy Alternative, and today we're with Brother Dusty. How are you, man?
Pretty good, dude. It's Monday. It's nice out. Where are you from? I'm in
I'm
Nashville.
so I'm Ray's Rowdy's based in Nashville, but I do everything
Okay.
remotely from Cincinnati, so I'm not too
Okay.
far.
Yeah.
But
A little
yeah,
colder up there.
it hit the 50s today. I don't know what it is down there, but
I think it's like 70, man.
oh my
I
God,
was
really?
uh I was stuck in Cincinnati. A van my band's van broke down a couple weeks ago and I was stuck there for 3 days.
Oh
It was
no.
crazy. It's a good time though. I go to every time I'm in Cincy, I go to Agave and Rye, the
I
taco
was
spot.
I was
Dude,
just there 2 days ago.
yeah, it's great. Love
Yeah,
it.
man. Hell yeah, dude. But yeah, it's nice to have you on, man. I've been seeing you ever since I started my Rowdy Alternative account. Like I've been seeing you on that for the longest time. So I'm glad we finally got to make this happen, man.
Yeah,
And
man.
I guess just to start out, just let us I know obviously the new year just kicked off. Just let us know what's been going on with you, like shows in the studio, anything like that.
Yeah. Well, man, I took all of 2025 to sort of build a foundation for like making my solo. I've always had solo music, but I never really like tried to make like a real thing out of it. So, 2025 was just about like I honestly released one song, and with that song, I put my band together. I booked a bunch of tours. I got some management, printed all my merch, and really just set a foundation for myself. Got my name out, and just like made it known that I exist.
Yeah.
So this year, now that the foundation's set, it's really about like growth and like getting my digital following up a little bit more content. I did try to record 3 albums last year. I got two and a half of them done, pretty much done
Hmm.
enough. So this year I'm trying to finish all 3 of them and just be stacked up on music for the next couple years. And of course I'll still do more stuff, but with this year, I think really the next move is I'm trying to play as many solo gigs as possible.
Okay.
I'm trying to, because with the band, I don't know if you've seen, but I have like a 5 to 7 piece band depending on the show,
Hmm.
and that's awesome. But at this point, like, been basically paying my guys all the money that I make.
Yeah.
So, I've been trying to book more solo gigs to where, by the end of the year, I can have like a fully self sufficient career just by myself, not needing management, not needing anything, no band members, just being able to do all of it myself and make all my own money. And then anything above that, is just bonus points.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean that's a good strategy to do. I mean, like like you put, I think you said like a rebuild year or like build a year like to where
Yeah.
you could like really like you said like get your following up and all that. But yeah, man, it was so cool to dive into your stuff. I it the way I describe it is that it's hard to describe what your music sounds like, and I think
Good.
that's the best thing about it in my opinion. I love music like that. And
Yeah. Same.
especially going off like your last single, which I think came out it was January of last year, wasn't it?
It was January 1st, 2025. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And like it's like if it's hard like the hip hop influence to the jazz influence to the I
Yeah.
get I get a lot of Primus. I don't know if
Dude,
that's anything, but
it's funny because Primus is not at all an influence. I actually all of the information I know about Primus is from how many people have told me that my music reminds them of Primus. I think it's just a lead bass thing, man. I think
Mhm.
most music is guitar based and the bass is just back there. And when you have like a bass led band, people are like, "Oh, Primus," which is
Yeah.
hilarious because it's like they're really the only like big band who's ever done that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And there's other lead singer bass players, but they usually just play regular bass lines.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a compliment, trust me. It's a
yeah,
compliment.
no, thank you. I like them. It's interesting because I've had people show me like, oh, well, you need to know, like, you need to sit down with some Primus and like listen. And I will say, dude, I listen, and remarkably, there are so many songs where the riff is only like 2 notes away from a song that I have, or like really, really similar feels and really similar concepts. And it's just like, wow, man, like I'd never listened to Primus growing up.
Yeah.
And I still don't, honestly. I respect them. When people are like, oh man, you remind me of Les Claypool, it's like, I know that that's one of the best rock basses of all time. So I take it, as a great compliment. But it is
Yeah.
funny, that, and there was a while I was getting a lot of Jim Morrison, and I was
Okay.
like, dude, I've never even listened to the Doors. Um, but it's cool that people can draw influences from people that aren't influences, because that just makes me feel like, those dudes are great. And the fact that I didn't take from them, I just ended up coincidentally becoming similar to them, according to other people. I think that that's just like a cool sign. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You're making those connections without even like
Yeah.
trying to. Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
neat. So I guess like man, how would you describe your sound? Like we said, like obviously it's such like it's everywhere in the best way possible.
Yeah.
And how would you describe it?
Man, I mean, it really depends on like the context. I know my two biggest influences are like Black Sabbath and Rage Against the Machine. Those are my
Mhm.
mom and dad influences. Love like Jack White and Wolf Mother and like a little bit of Chili Peppers. Um, I really liked NERD growing up.
Okay.
I think that's got a lot of influence on some of the new stuff that I'm doing. But I also, I get around in like the Nashville bluegrass scene. Like I got a lot of friends in like the folk Americana bluegrass thing. I've had metal phases, I've had hip hop phases and stuff like that. So like I always say that I would consider myself rock and roll um at a foundation, and then I like to spin it with just like a bunch of twists, and I like to mix in a little bit of hip hop and a little bit of funk and a little bit of metal and a little bit of jazz, and um whoa is really like rock, rap, and jazz, but
Yep.
I do a lot of different genre stuff. If you see my full band right now, where it's at is like the whole first half is like this weird EDM, Billy Strings, hip hop, um weird twist on like Americana blues, bluegrass. And then it gradually gets jazzier, and then by the end of it, it's like heavy rock. So I've just been telling people it's like a circus. It's like you see a little bit of everything, and you see all these different instruments. And I try to just make like I try to take rock and roll as the centerpiece, and then just bring in everything from all over the world and throughout history, and like make sort of like a time machine. Like it's supposed to be a thing, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Rather than fitting in to a specific category, I try to invent, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and I feel like we're in a good spot now, like in really any genre. You see it all the time. Like the genre lines are getting so blurred, and
Yeah.
artists are trying new things. Like you said, they're inventing things.
Yeah.
Like Billy Strings, like like bluegrass, right? Like that's the first thing you think of, but he's doing his own thing.
Oh yeah, for
Billy
sure.
Strings is Billy Strings, and then
Well,
you have
he's a
bluegrass.
former metal guy
Yeah.
that went bluegrass, and I think that's kind of where I'm at with it too. Is like a lot of my like I don't I have a lot of bluegrass friends that are very traditionalist.
Hmm.
I would never claim to be that, but it's like it's kind of bluegrass flavored music, you know what I mean? It sort of
Yeah.
feels like that. But it's taken from a lot of rock and a lot of metal and a lot of hip hop, and just fusing that, and then putting all these fusions together with like a banjo and a mandolin and a fiddle and the upright bass and stuff, but yeah, I mean, the main thing that I'm excited about is a lot more of the whoa
Hmm.
style music, where it's like kind of jazzy rap rock.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's a tough question, but it is a real question that has to be answered all the time.
Yeah.
And I try to just tell people the live show is a circus, and my music has just like a rock and roll center, and I just bring a salad of
Hmm.
everything, you know?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And like speaking of like the live show, I say it on here all the time, but like when I think, in my opinion, as a music fan, I think the live show is like maybe the most important part as a fan
Yeah.
discovering artists. Like
Hmm.
that's, I think, at least in my experience, that's what has made me a fan, and that's also what keeps me a fan. Like there's something about
Yeah.
it. And like I haven't seen you live in person, but I've seen videos like when I was doing my little deep dive on you, and man, you do circus. Like that's a great way to
Yeah.
put it. And
Yeah.
it is like, I feel like there's a balance between like the actual musical aspect to the live show and the show part.
Yeah.
And is that like it seems like you've really found that line down the middle like perfectly. Has that been like something that you think a lot about the live show aspect of it, or you kind of just go on up there and just do what you do?
No, I am all about I was in drumline when I was in like high school and growing up, and I used to be like a drumline coach. And I've been involved in like more theatric production stuff. I did a lot of it's like winter drumline, which it's almost like a play in a basketball gym with it's like a marching band show, but it's all drums.
Yeah.
And I've always been into like the theatrics and like concepts and world building and just the production side of it. So I'm really into like getting my transitions right and like having moments in the show. And I mean, there are a lot of really good bands that just go out and play songs, but in my opinion, it's like people pay so much money to go and just stare at Lord of the Rings for 3 hours, or they'll pay even more money to go watch like Dave Chappelle
Yeah.
tell jokes for an hour.
Yeah.
And so where I'm at with it is like, how can I provide something that's worth someone paying money just to go stare at and listen to? So I want to try to create like the most, just I don't know what the word is. I guess entertaining is the first word that comes to mind, but just something that really brings people in and hooks them, and most importantly, just like etches myself into their subconscious and their memory to where when they leave that day, they'll remember,
Yeah.
because it's like we all go to shows, but it's like give it a month. Who played that show? Do
Yeah.
you even remember the bands? Do you remember any of their songs? Can you think of anything remarkable that you remember a month later after seeing a show? And I think all the best shows have something like that where you have memories. And so that's what I try to do is just create something that can turn into a memory or turn into an experience for people where they can go tell stories, you know?
Yeah. Well put, man. I mean that's I completely agree. Like when when you're at a good show, and like a month later, a year later, when you could remember that show and where
Yeah.
you were during that. Absolutely, man.
Yeah. I feel like with so many people making music, it feels like if you're really, really gonna do it, the bare minimum is 11 out of 10.
Mhm.
That's what I say. If you're 10 out of 10, you're still kind of part of the background noise.
Yep.
It's like all the people that are really, really killing it. If you watch them, there's not a lot of like really, really big successful artists that are anything less than 11 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's like it's usually got to be like so incredible that you can't look away from it. And there's plenty of exceptions, obviously, but
Yeah.
that's kind of how I try to stick to, and I try to think. Not that I'm there yet, but like that's what I shoot for.
Yeah, and I imagine that's especially the case, and I don't live there, I don't know really, but, like, in a place like Nashville,
Oh yeah,
can you tell me a bit about how that community is, especially with your
buddy.
the music you play nice. With the music you play, it is so I feel like it's hard to put it in a scene, you know what I mean? But, like, obviously,
Yeah,
Nashville has so many they have the rock scene, the country stuff, the
yeah.
songwriter.
Well,
How can you describe that community kinda a little bit?
yeah. First off, one thing about Nashville is that the cashier at the dollar store is probably better at your instrument than you are. Um, and that's everywhere. It's like it's just anytime they're like, "What do you do?" and I'm like, "I'm a musician," and they're like, "Yeah, me too." That's
Mm.
just like it's the music city. I was in the rock scene for like 7 years, and I played in like at least 30 bands or artists, like with 30 bands or artists. So I know a lot of the rock scene. And a lot of the guys that I played with are like out touring, and like I wouldn't even really consider them part of the scene anymore. And then all of last year I got into like the jazz and hip hop scene. And I think this year I'm gonna really try to like I have a lot of friends in the bluegrass scene. And I think I'm gonna try and tackle that. And so you're right. It's like where does my music fit? But this the cool thing about it is I can go play in February. I've got a rap show,
Nice.
and I'm playing rock shows, and then I've got like some jazz nights that I've played, and with the bluegrass thing, and it's like it's literally set up. I'm trying to get so many songs in the set where I can go and just only play my bluegrassy stuff with other bands like that, and then I can play just a full rock set with all rock bands, you know, and then maybe throw in a couple of the exception songs
Yeah.
just to mix it up and be like, oh, but we're different, and here's this thing that no one else is doing, you know. And then of course, if you book us for like a festival or something, you get the full circus of
Yeah.
everything. So yeah, it's like a high school, you know. There's a lot of different lunch tables in the cafeteria in Nashville. Um, and I love it here, man. I've been here long enough to kind of see that honestly, a lot of the people that are killing it, they're not really in the scene.
Mm.
They're kind of more concerned about like touring and moving up ahead of those things. I spent a lot of years like in the Nashville high school uh world, you know.
Yeah.
Um, Great people. It's awesome. It's just like I feel like after a few years, you sort of look around and some of your favorite bands have broke up, and it feels like no one necessarily gets to go anywhere. There's exceptions, of course, but here lately, I've just been sort of like tuning myself out from like the local scene, but still going out and playing. And like, I want to know what's going on, and I want to know what the good bands are and stuff. But I'm kind of trying to like not play Nashville too much. You know
Right.
what I mean? Unless it's like a big opportunity.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure, man. And it's I want to talk a bit about, it sounds like you want to like you said, kind of get more into the bluegrassy stuff this year a little bit and like kind of dive into that a bit. It's kind of wild how, at least from what I've seen, like bluegrass is like popular again. Like it's
Yeah,
popular now. Thanks a lot, to Billy Strings, but other band like a lot in the jam band world I've noticed. Like it's
yeah.
like it's kind of cool. Is that pretty prevalent in town? Like the bluegrass stuff
Yeah,
or yeah.
yeah. It's funny because there's country Nashville with like your average like rich white kid from the suburbs who just bought a cowboy hat and boots and strums three chords and talks about whiskey and his girlfriend and stuff. That's like more downtown, but a lot of like where I'm surrounded by is like a lot of the jam grass, bluegrass,
Mhm.
like that world. And yeah, I think Grateful Dead had some sort of a resurgence, and then like the Grateful Dead tied in with the Billy Strings movement, I think really turned people's heads. And you know, now there's just like a full world of all these like, you know, like Sierra Farrell and Jesse Wells and
Mhm.
Charlie Crockett and you know Benjamin Todd and all these people. um I mean, there's just so many, and it's like an alternative country that's more country than whatever we're calling country these days.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's like that's what real country was, and we got away from it, and now it's coming back, but it's coming back under a different name, I
Yep.
guess, and a different scene.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't know, and there are a lot of people like that, and that's kind of where I want to head a little bit with that style of music. You know, is
Yeah.
playing with those artists and opening up for those people. There's like you know Paul Cawthon and
Oh
even
yeah.
a little bit of like I would honestly say like kind of Jelly Roll a little bit. Like he's mainstream, but he's not like bro country. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And he does the genre twisting and the fusion and stuff like that. But yeah, here in Nashville, no, there's a huge bluegrass movement, and there are some people that play both like that side of the country and then like the bro country downtown. But it's not divided in like a negative way, but it's like there's definitely the two different scenes. You know,
Yeah.
there's the honky tonk. Like if you go to like Skinny Dennis is a really popular bar now, and it's like the music, you feel like you're in like an old western saloon, you know, from back in the Wild West. Um, and it's cool, you know. But yeah, it is funny. There's so many, like I said, the high school cafeteria lunch tables. There's artists that are trying to make art, and
Mhm.
then there's just like an army of each genre that's like these guys want to be the next Led Zeppelin, and these guys want to be the next Motley Crue, and these guys want to be the next Metallica, and you know these guys want to be the next you know whatever you have it. And it's like you see that in every genre. Like you
Yeah.
see people who are trying to recreate like a Willie Nelson or whatever it be, you know. um and so it's really I love to find people where I listen to their music and I'm just like, dude, you did it. You
Yeah.
know, you took your influences and you mixed them up and you did this thing that I can't put my finger on, rather than just follow a formula and check off boxes on a list, you
Yeah.
know?
Absolutely. And I'm seeing a lot of that like with like the modern like rock bands. Like a lot of them go the route of they take that retro or that vintage sound, whether it be
Mhm.
like Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin, like you said, but they do, like you said, change it up in their own way, just
Yeah,
enough to make it their own. And I think that's wild in itself. But like with your stuff, like you can't put a finger on it. And I
true.
like, and I would say like more than any other artist I've listened to recently, man. Like honestly, like it is really. I was like racking my brain today. I'm like, what the fuck? Like this guy don't sound like anything that I've
Yeah,
ever heard. You know what I
great,
mean?
man. No, I love that.
Yeah, hell
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I mean that's what I strive for, and I honestly, it's like something that I'm kind of trying to work on. Here, I gotta let the dog out.
You're good.
It's something that I'm trying to work on. Of like, I definitely want to stay unique and stay doing my own thing, but I think there is a certain degree of like, there's a reason, people get used to these different genres and stuff, and it's what they're familiar with, and so I'm trying to like, formulate at least like parts of my songs and some of my songs to where it's like, okay, there is a relatable aspect and like a familiarity, because when you put a song out, these days it's like, well, what playlist can I go into?
Yeah.
What world does this belong in? What bands should I open up for? And it's like there's got to be a certain amount of relatability to the market. And so that's what I've kind of been working on, is keeping my forefront is this mysterious, like, what is he even doing vibe. But then having like a couple songs here and there where it's just like straightforward. It's like, all right, yeah, this goes with that. And then
Hmm.
having like a bridge in that song where it's like, nope,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep the twist.
Yeah, keep you on your toes. And you mentioned kind of like how like what playlist are you going to get put on, and basically like the way the industry is now, like with Spotify for instance, like streaming, like you got the I always think that they have like that release radar, so where all these artists like they put a new song out that Friday and then they're on it. I mean, yeah, that's great for discovering new music, but I mean, I feel like it's still so like I guess diluted, is that a good word? I don't know. It's
Yeah.
oversaturated kind of. It's hard to. There's like I'm sure there's a million great artists out there, but like you just can never find them.
Yeah.
And like with like this new age, it's hell. It's not even really new anymore. It's been going on for a while. But in the world of streaming and social media and TikTok and all that, have you been able to? I know, like you said, you've been working on creating that build up and everything. But have you found that challenging at all? Have you just been kind of doing it your own way? How's that been going?
Honestly, I kind of ignore it.
Yeah.
I think that there's a huge advantage to the TikTok and the Spotify and all that, but like I still think that it's an illusion. You got to go book gigs, man. You got to go like have one-on-one conversations with people. You got to get out and go to the party and have a beer with some buddies and go make friends, man. And it's like that's where the opportunities are. Yeah, I've played with people that are viral online or that have like 10 times the followers that I do. It doesn't necessarily translate to ticket sales. No
Mm-mm.
one really cares. I just think that people spend so much time on the internet right now that there's just this big illusion that that's what life is now. And it's like, it definitely helps,
Yeah.
like having a big TikTok following and having a big social media following helps. But it's like at the end of the day, success in the music business really comes from like playing the right gigs, meeting the right people, getting the right opportunities, and opening up for certain people. Um, and I don't necessarily think that you have to have like a certain amount of. It just depends who you're talking to. If you're talking to some industry people, they want to see numbers.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to pay your bills and you're trying to make money and you're trying to go out and like make a legacy and just play the music and get it out there, it's like I think it's very possible to just go do.
Mm-hmm.
I thankfully, like when I go around Nashville, it's like I don't think my numbers are that high, but like almost everywhere I go, someone comes up to me and they're like, "Hey, brother Dusty," right? So it's like, what do the numbers even really mean at that
Yeah.
point? You know what I mean? It's like if I can't even go to the grocery store without feeling like I'm Tom Hanks or some shit, you know what I mean? It's like I don't know. I mean, that is something that I do want to work on this year because I think it is a part of it and it can be important. I just think real life trumps it like entirely.
Yeah.
There's bands that come out and their very first show is huge or their
Mm-hmm.
very first song is huge. And it's like, it's not a coincidence and it's not an accident. Someone did some work and someone knows somebody and they don't have numbers. They don't have a following. They don't have merch. They don't have songs out, but they know the guy who can give them the record deal. And as soon as their first song comes out, they're in Rolling Stone. You
Yeah.
know, it's very
Yeah.
possible. But I think where I'm at right now is just doing like the base level DIY stuff, getting connected to those people and working my way up through that naturally. Which is cool because I have songs that I think are great, but they're not that. Like they're
Mhm.
not like big radio hits, and it's like I would rather get my like more personal songs that I really like, but I don't necessarily think are like the best song in the world.
Mm.
Um I would like to still put those out. And it's like, if I were to get a record deal tomorrow, I would have to probably ditch like half my catalog, you
Mhm.
know? So it's kind of fun this way because I can put out the songs that are more personal to me that I don't necessarily believe in, but it's enough to maintain my career and it's enough to put out and work on getting followers and stuff like that. Um, so I don't know. I think I'm gonna work on it a lot this year and like have a couple of days where I just film a bunch of content and do the thing, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Um, but it's all controlled and it's all gate kept and the algorithm is a weird thing and it's hard to break out making your own thing. It's really easy to break out advertising something that isn't you. Going out and
Yeah.
just making a silly meme or a funny skit or something that really does nothing for your career. That I feel like that's easy to do that and blow up. But
Mhm.
it's like, what is that really going to do for me? You know, I don't
Yep.
like how degrading this whole thing is for people. It's like it's
Yep.
turning everyone into like wannabe superstar vanity, and it's like you can clearly tell in their videos and their reels that they're just like begging for attention. They're doing anything that they can to get it, and it almost it takes away from the mystique of their artistry, and it takes away from just like just who they are as people, and it just kind of like I don't know, man. It shows a side of people that is really hard to take seriously, you
Yeah.
know? And I want to do a little bit of it because you got to relate to people and you got to play the game. But I'm just going to like focus on booking and connections and doing things in the real world
Yeah.
and then let the numbers kind of build themselves from touring. And you know, every now and then, hopefully, I can have a video that gets a lot of shares, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I mean that's the right mindset to have, man. And like you're dead right about like I know a lot of artists who like they've been around for 10 plus years and like now all of a sudden they're being told like you, by the label or whoever, I don't know the ins and outs of that, but I know they're being told like, all right, you got to have a TikTok out today, and it
Yeah.
just weighs down on it, beats them down. It's just so sad to watch, and like sometimes it like they just they're done with it, like they just stop playing music and like hope.
Well, it divides your time so much, and it makes you think. Like you go back and you listen to like you know Jimi Hendrix or like Led Zeppelin or something like that, and there's just something like so mystically powerful about it. And when you
Mm-hmm.
really think about it, it's like those dudes didn't have cell phones.
Right.
Those dudes were just only around people and the earth and their instruments
Yeah.
and the party. And like that's what their life was. And now it's like we're so all sucked into the screen that I feel like it really deteriorates like the mystical, like earthy, organic, spiritual quality of music, and it just turns everything into like this wannabe commercial, you
Yeah.
know?
And Hendrix was a great example. I mean, like I might have seen like 3 Jimi Hendrix interviews in my life,
Yeah.
like video interviews, and like the dude's like still one of the biggest artists to ever live.
It,
Like you're right about the mystique. It sucks. I feel like we've lost a lot of that. Pretty much what you've said, but
yeah.
hopefully, you know, some semblance of that could come back, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's really weird because it's like hypothetically, if you think about it, like, okay, let's disappear into the mountains and write the greatest album of all time. Well, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
You know, you still got to play the game. You got to go record some content and you still got to promote it. And it's like, it's like a trap, man. It's like, there's really no way out
Mm.
unless you just miraculously were to run into somebody who's like, hey, let me do everything for you and you just play the music. And I think you eventually get there. I think a lot of the bigger artists in the world have probably achieved that where they don't have to worry about any of that stuff, you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
But when you're on like kind of the level that I'm at, I did hire management and I've got people that want to do that. My problem is I'm a control freak and I do make my own videos and I make my own graphics and I make a lot of my own stuff. So for me to turn it over to somebody, especially who would do it for cheap, it's like they're not going to do it better than me in terms of like making it more suitable for the brand and
Yeah.
like what I want out of it. You know,
Yeah.
no one's going to do that better than me. So I'm kind of waiting until I find someone who's just like way, way, way better than me that can just shut me up. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it makes sense, man. But dude, thanks a lot for hopping on. It was a lot of fun. But before we go, what do we got coming down the pipe? You said it sounds like you got a big year coming up. Like, can we hear about anything you might have coming out or shows, even anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, I got a couple shows in Nashville booked. Pretty big. Like they're all a little bit more than like just a show, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of solo gigs. I'm doing a lot of open mics and a lot of like featured slots, with some restaurants and bars, like just getting going. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I've got a new single that I'm going to put out relatively soon. My management's really wanting to take our time with like sending it to press and like really releasing it the right way. But I have a rock song coming out, and then I want to drop some of the like country stuff after, and like I think I'm going to mix it up. I was going to go all rock and then all country and then all love ballads, and I think what I'm actually going to do is mix it up and stagger them,
Okay.
and then maybe later on drop the rock record. I'm hoping by the end of this year I can drop the rock record, or at least build up to it, and the beginning of next year drop the full album. You know,
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Dude, I'm so excited. I was very hyped to finally dive into your stuff, dude. I can't wait to see what this year has to come for you, man.
thanks a lot, man. Yeah, thanks for your time and hitting me up, dude.
Absolutely, man. But before we go, also, where can people find you? Just everything, Brother Dusty.
Yeah, Brother Dusty, Instagram and YouTube are the main ones. I will say I just built my website. I haven't announced it yet. Um, I'm not gonna stop you from typing it in the search bar and seeing if it exists yet. I did it myself. It was a headache, but I did it. Um, but yeah, everything's Brother Dusty. There might be a couple things if you can't find Brother Dusty music, but I'm pretty sure everything's just straight Brother Dusty. So
Right
that's
on.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
y'all make sure to check out Brother Dusty. I can't tell you guys enough how good his shit is. It's really good. And can't wait to see what you have coming up, man. Everyone also check out Rowdy Alternative. Google us will show up right next to Brother Dusty's new website on the search bar. So
Yeah, yeah,
thanks everyone for listening, dude. Thanks for hopping on. This was a lot of
yeah,
fun.
dude. Hey, I'll
Yeah,
let you know when I'm coming back to Cincinnati. I think I'm going in August. So,
awesome. Please do, man.
yeah,
Well, yeah, that'll be fun. But
cool.
yep. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you guys next time.
Yes, sir. Take it easy, man.